Man, I knew Prismo was going to be important in this new batch of episodes. That's why I made him the outfit for today. So if you missed the first video in this new series, you can go there by clicking this card. If you have, stick around, because episodes 3 and 4 of Fionna and Cake were heavy hitters, especially number 4. So today, we're going to review them. Episode 3 is Cake the Cat. It begins in an alternate reality where Finn and Jake are beating up on a giant chicken monster. Classic Adventure Time. Except wait, no it's not, cause Jake is alive here? This is immediately confusing to anyone who's been keeping up. Finn has his classic Jake tattoo, which we assumed he got when his bro died, so either this is an alternate universe where Jake somehow came back, or this is back in time where Jake is still alive and Finn just got his tattoo for funsies. He does look a bit younger here than he did in episode 2, so I'm betting that's the case. But also, I feel like I'm missing something here. Sometimes multiverse shenanigans gets confusing, so if anyone can explain this, please let me know, I'd really appreciate it. It turns out that this is another universe that Prismo is watching because he's shirking his duties. Prismo is looking rough, man. I mean, he's looking like all of us right now, honestly. Stuck in a rut? Just put on some classic Adventure Time and relax. That's what I do when I'm depressed. We pick back up with Cake, who just came through a portal in Simon's head. I can't believe I saw no one call this, but Simon puts the talking dog collar on her so she can talk. That is some great use of a Chekhov's gun. Cake runs off, and we actually see a Minerva bot. I shouldn't be surprised, I guess. We did see Minerva at the end of Come Along With Me. She doesn't pop back in either of the episodes though, so I'm assuming she'll be important later. And this right here is important. As Cake falls off the edge of the human city, we get some more lore clues in the vein of Grable's 1000+. It's only been, 12 years since Come Along With Me? And the Ice Kingdom has already fallen to ruin. Cake says that she wants to go there, which makes me believe that we will at some point in this series. The ice thing does show up in this next scene, half reverted. This implies a few things. Turtle Princess, she's either completely gone or she just left the ice thing. His gem is still missing, however, and I suspect that we can figure out who has it. Okay, I'm about to get into some deep Adventure Time lore here. In the intro for Come Along With Me, it's 1,000 years in the future and the ice thing is completely corrupted. In the last episode of the series, Ice King was reverted back into Simon, who we're following in Fionna and Cake, and Gunter took the crown and made the wish to become Ice King. So now, Gunter Ice King is Ice Thing. It only has 2 gems, with the third having been stolen by Gibbon, Charlie's son, and Jake's grandson. We never actually saw this in the show, but Steve Wolfhard, one of the crew members who worked on the original series, has been quietly developing his own corner of the lore in the background. And Gibbon stealing the Ice Thing's crown is one of the ideas he came up with. He's used one of the gems to keep himself immortal, but it's also driving him mad, just like the Ice King. At this point in the series, Gibbon's whereabouts are unknown. However, I believe that more of Steve Wolfhard's Pup Kingdom ideas will show up in the rest of Fionna and Cake somehow. This Ice Thing tease has me convinced that they will. Also, if you're somewhat unfamiliar with this corner of the lore, I'm gonna link the absolute GOAT Adventure Time coverage channel in the description. Everything I know because of him. Anyway, Cake runs into the squirrel that helped Finn in the episode Up a Tree. Nice callback. I love their back and forth. It's so nice to hear Cake's typical voice again. Some shenanigans ensue, and they go to a marketplace. I only bring up this story beat in particular because the squirrel is clearly just trying to make friends, and when Cake walks away from him, I don't think I've ever seen a more accurate depiction of what it's like trying to make new friends. Nothing you say in the interaction is wrong or weird. Sometimes the other person just doesn't want to put in the work, and it's nobody's fault. Ugh, this series is throwing so many accurate YA things at us, it hurts. The rest of the episode proceeds with Simon trying the ritual again, and this time Fionna comes through. She meets up with the little girl that's a huge Fionna and Cake fan, and they go to try and find Cake. They eventually do find her in this marketplace, but they get zapped by Prismo. Episode ends. This one was great. I mean, admittedly, I kind of wrapped it up quickly at the end there, but this isn't really supposed to be a recap. It's more of a reaction analysis, play-by-play kind of a thing. But yeah, this episode was really solid, with most of the progression of the lore coming from background details. The next episode, however, provides a huge contrast to this. Everything in the 4th episode is told to us directly, and is much more overtly story-driven than this one. This is a big one. It's Prismo time. Episode 4, titled Prismo the Wishmaker, starts on the Drift. This space colony is from the Distant Land special BMO, and it looks like it's flourishing. I actually just happened to rewatch it after I watched the first 2 episodes of Fionna and Cake, so kind of lucky I did, or else I would have forgotten what this place was. This new character is the Scarab, and he's described later as a sort of god auditor. This is what I love about Adventure Time's world. They always expand the scope of the universe so casually, presenting these characters like we should know who they are already. You'd think it'd make it confusing, but it really just makes them feel like they've been here the whole time. He's come to the Drift to find this yellow, god-like creature, but he left his post to live another life. Scarab traps him and then flips through a list of his other targets. Next on the list is Voidcaster, one of the Citadel's prisoners who escaped with Martin. It's interesting what this implies. Voidcaster was a prisoner of the Citadel, which means that even potential gods can be locked up there. Now, we don't know that Voidcaster is or was a god specifically, and not everyone on this list is a god, but you might be able to infer that because it's on his list, gods could end up in the Citadel. Possibly. It really shakes up the hierarchy of power that we know so far. Next up, Martin Mertens, who is flipping off the guy taking the picture. I mean, I love that Adventure Time could just do this now. He's listed as desertion. So what the hell did Martin do to get on this guy's list in the first place? Or better question, what did he do to end up in the Citadel? I hope we eventually find out. Finally, Prismo is wanted for violation. This will make sense in a bit. What this list and this new character means is that we're getting closer to figuring out who Prismo's boss is. I cannot wait for that episode. Next we catch up with Prismo, who's looking real rough. This show depicts a lot of characters with depression, and it looks like we're adding Prismo to that list. Somehow, Wyatt is here for his wish. I really don't know how Wyatt got here. A character so minor that most people watching this probably don't remember who he is. He was romantically involved with Tree Trunks, until that ended horribly, but he gets what he deserves. Prismo puts him in a hilarious 40s cartoon where he's tied to train tracks. I was half expecting him to just die in this cartoon, but nah. He's gotta show up in the first Dead World sometime. Prismo finally answers his remote, and it says there's been a crossover event. Uh-oh, a canon event? Oh shit. So Prismo's voice is different, but I do kinda like it. There's much more of an emotional range to this Prismo. He zaps Fionna and Cake into his time room, and fixes them to look more like the Fionna and Cake that we know. And since this episode in particular is so exposition heavy, I'm going to derail this recap a bit to explain what we learned in this episode sequentially. So in the days after Come Along With Me, Prismo got bored of granting wishes for others. So what did he do? He illegally created his own little universe for fun. He created Fionna and Cake. Sure, they're a ripoff of Finn and Jake, but whatever. Since this was illegally done, he had to hide their universe from the authorities. So where did he put it? He beamed it into Simon's head, as we saw in the episode of Fionna and Cake and Fionna. But when the Ice King reverted back into Simon, Fionna and Cake's world turned non-magical as well. When Simon tried to bring Betty back, the spell backfired, and it brought Fionna and Cake through his head portal into this reality. You got all that? Like I said, this stuff can get confusing in a hurry, but it's very well executed. Lemongrab gets a cameo in this episode, and it reminds me that Justin Roiland can't do this anymore. Oh, I forgot about that. Speaking of which, Rick and Morty Season 7 coming in October? That's exciting. So yeah, Lemongrab is different, but it's a pretty good impression, I'll be honest. The Scarab shows up to try and destroy Fionna and Cake, but they manage to escape with Simon and Prismo's remote. And it ends with Simon saying that he needs to turn back into Ice King, to save Fionna and Cake's world and to give him peace. I don't believe that's going to end up happening, but I don't really know what's going to happen. I kind of yada-yada'd a lot of this episode too, but this one in particular is so dense with story, you really just gotta watch it. I mean, both of these episodes are fantastic, and the progression of the lore is amazing. Prismo's boss is coming, and I am stoked. What did you guys think of these episodes? Were they good, bad, somewhere in the middle? If I had any criticisms, Adventure Time has always done a brilliant job at developing lore by avoiding large exposition dumps. And this episode kind of faltered in that department, but it is a lot, so I can understand. Anyway, I loved these episodes, and I can't wait for next week. I'll see you then.